Welcome to World Alert Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Tonight we bring you a story that feels like it could be the plot of a Hollywood blockbuster, full of suspense, danger, and high stakes. But make no mistake, this is no work of fiction. The threat is real, and it's closer than most people realize. Deep beneath the restless waves of the South China Sea lies a geological time bomb, the Manila Trench, a massive fault line stretching for hundreds of kilometers. Scientists warned that this hidden giant could unleash a catastrophic magnitude 8.4 earthquake at any moment, an event powerful enough to reshape the future of Southeast Asia. The question haunting experts is not if this will happen, but when. The countdown has already begun. Along these vulnerable coastlines, millions of people go about their daily lives, largely unaware of the immense forces building up beneath their feet and the sea. The threat posed by a mega-earthquake and tsunami here is unique, sudden, massive, and nearly impossible to predict with any certainty. One moment life is perfectly normal, the next the ground convulses violently and the sea transforms into a towering, unstoppable wall of water, sweeping everything in its path. This is the stark reality facing communities from the Philippines to Vietnam, China, and Taiwan. Millions of lives and livelihoods at risk. For centuries, the Manila Trench has been storing energy, like a spring wound, tighter and tighter with every passing year. Each year, the relentless grinding of tectonic plates adds more tension, increasing the pressure and the potential for disaster. Scientists know that this energy cannot remain trapped forever. Sooner or later, it must be released, and when it is, the consequences could be devastating. When the fault finally slips, shock waves and a massive tsunami could race across the South China Sea in a matter of hours, or even minutes, leaving little time to react. The eerie silence from this fault line is deceptive. It's not a sign of safety, but a warning that disaster could strike at any time. Understanding this threat is urgent. Preparedness, through education, drills, and community planning, is the only real defense we have against nature's fury. The time to act is now, before the ticking time bomb beneath the waves finally explodes and changes everything forever. The Manila Trench is one of the world's most dangerous fault lines, a silent threat lying just beneath the surface of the ocean. It stretches for hundreds of kilometers off the Philippines, running parallel to the nation's western coastline and shaping the fate of millions who live nearby. Here, the immense Eurasian plate is forced beneath the Philippine Sea plate, a slow-motion collision that builds up unimaginable stress over decades, even centuries. Scientists warn that the trench is overdue for a major rupture, a calculated risk based on decades of research, not just a guess or speculation. The stakes are incredibly high. The South China Sea region is among the most densely populated on Earth, with millions living in vulnerable coastal cities. Major cities like Manila, Hong Kong, and Taipei are all within reach of a potential tsunami, their skylines standing as reminders of what's at risk. A megaquake here would be a regional disaster, not just a local tragedy. Its effects would ripple across borders, impacting economies and lives far beyond the epicenter. The energy released in such an event would dwarf anything humanity has ever created, unleashing forces that could reshape coastlines in moments. The semi-enclosed nature of the sea could amplify tsunami waves, causing them to strike some areas multiple times, compounding the devastation. The first wave could hit the Philippines in minutes, leaving little time to react. Vietnam could be struck in 2 hours, with China and Taiwan soon after, all in the path of destruction. Early warning systems are critical for survival, but the region remains dangerously unprepared, with outdated technology and limited public awareness. Most people see the sea as a source of life, not destruction. Its beauty masks the danger lurking beneath, making the threat easy to forget. Yet the Manila Trench has produced large earthquakes and tsunamis before, and it will do so again. History is a warning we cannot ignore. The current seismic silence is more worrying than frequent small tremors. It suggests that pressure is quietly building, waiting for the moment to be released. A massive amount of energy is waiting to be unleashed, a hidden danger that could change everything in an instant. To grasp the danger, we must understand the science. Earth's surface is made of tectonic plates, constantly moving atop the mantle. Where these plates meet, fault lines form, hotspots for earthquakes. The Manila Trench is a subduction zone. The Eurasian plate dives beneath the Philippine Sea plate. Like a rug jammed under another, the plates lock, pressure builds. When the stress overcomes friction, the fault ruptures. An earthquake. In a megaquake, the plates can move several meters in minutes. The seafloor thrusts upward, displacing massive volumes of water. This is how tsunamis are born. Energy from the quake transfers directly to the ocean. Scientists use GPS to measure plate movement and estimate stress buildup. Geological records show the last major quake was long ago. The fault is primed. The ground beneath the South China Sea is not sleeping, it's waiting. The cycle of stress and release is inevitable. The next rupture could reshape the region. Understanding this process is key to survival. Imagine the day the Manila Trench ruptures, a day that begins like any other, but will change everything in an instant. Suddenly, violent shaking rocks coastal cities like Manila for what feels like an eternity, as buildings sway and the ground heaves beneath millions of feet. Modern skyscrapers may withstand the tremors, but countless older structures collapse, trapping thousands of people beneath rubble and dust. Infrastructure crumbles, roads split open, bridges tumble into rivers, and the city plunges into darkness as power lines snap and utilities fail. Then, an eerie silence falls. The sea suddenly retreats, pulling water far from the shore and exposing the ocean floor, a deadly warning sign that few recognize in time. Minutes later, a monstrous wall of water appears on the horizon, racing toward land faster than anyone can possibly outrun. The tsunami is not a normal wave. It's a relentless, unstoppable surge, sweeping up cars, trees, and entire buildings in its muddy grip. Entire districts are swallowed in minutes, buildings torn from their foundations, ships hurled far inland, and neighborhoods erased. Coastal communities are wiped out, their streets and homes obliterated by the force of the water. The human toll is immediate and staggering, injuries, loss, and heartbreak everywhere you look. Survivors wander through a landscape of ruin, desperately searching for loved ones, calling out names amid the chaos and collapsed buildings. Rescue efforts are crippled, airports are underwater, roads are impassable, and communication lines are down, making coordination nearly impossible. In the aftermath, society teeters on the edge as panic sets in, with crowds scrambling for dwindling supplies and order breaking down. The challenge is immense. Rescue the trapped, care for the injured, and provide for survivors in a world turned upside down by disaster. Yet amid the devastation, acts of courage and kindness emerge. This is not just a disaster, it's a test of humanity's resilience and compassion. Preparation is the only hope. Only by planning ahead, practicing drills, and building community can we hope to survive when the wave arrives. We've seen this nightmare before. In 2004, a magnitude 9.1 quake off Sumatra triggered a tsunami that killed over 230,000 people across 14 countries. There was no warning system. Thousands died needlessly. The tragedy spurred the creation of the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning System. In 2011, Japan, one of the world's best prepared nations, was devastated by a 9.0 quake and tsunami. Even with advanced warnings, nearly 20,000 died and a nuclear disaster followed. These events taught us warning systems save lives, but even the best preparations can be overwhelmed. Complacency is deadly. The South China Sea must learn from Sumatra and Japan, build warning systems, strengthen infrastructure, and educate the public. Preparation is not optional, it's survival. The cost of inaction is measured in lives. Despite the threat, the South China Sea lacks a unified tsunami warning system. The technology exists. Dart buoys can detect tsunamis in real time. The obstacle isn't cost or science, it's politics. Territorial disputes breed mistrust, blocking regional cooperation. Without shared data and rapid alerts, millions remain at risk. Tsunamis don't respect borders. Warnings must be coordinated. Delays or inconsistent alerts could be fatal. Public awareness is also dangerously low. Many don't know the warning signs or evacuation routes. Even the best system fails without education and drills. The region is gambling with human lives. The time to build trust and act is now. A South China Sea disaster would ripple across the globe. This region is a manufacturing and shipping powerhouse, vital to the world economy. A mega quake and tsunami would halt trade, destroy ports, and shatter supply chains. The economic shock would be measured in trillions, with shortages and price spikes worldwide. Insurance markets could collapse, recovery would take years. Millions would be displaced, creating a refugee crisis. Political tensions could flare, complicating aid and rescue. Instability could invite exploitation by extremist groups or rival powers. COVID-19 showed how crises spread globally. A Manila Trench tsunami would be even more sudden. Humanitarian needs would overwhelm resources. Recovery would require a massive, sustained international effort. The stakes are global, not just regional. The threat is real, but solutions exist. First, countries must overcome politics and build a unified tsunami warning system. Data sharing and coordinated alerts are essential. Invest in resilient infrastructure, earthquake-resistant buildings, hospitals, and power plants. Limit construction in high-risk zones, create green buffer areas. Public education is vital. Everyone must know the warning signs and evacuation routes. Regular drills and clear emergency plans save lives. Vertical evacuation shelters should be built where high ground is scarce. International cooperation is crucial. No country can face this alone. Nations with expertise must share knowledge and technology. The UN and other organizations can help fund and coordinate efforts. Solidarity must be built before disaster strikes. Preparedness is a shared responsibility. The facts are clear. The Manila Trench is a ticking time bomb. The clock is running and the next disaster could strike at any moment. Political paralysis or complacency would be unforgivable. The lessons of Sumatra and Japan demand urgent action. Governments must create a shared warning system now. Cities must be made resilient and citizens educated. This is not about panic, it's about empowerment and survival. Leadership, investment, and cooperation are needed. Millions of lives in the global economy hang in the balance. The next disaster should not be a surprise. We have the knowledge and technology to prepare. The only question is, do we have the will? The time for debate is over. The time for action is now. The future depends on the choices we make today. The clock is ticking.